Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend. But most importantly, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that bell notification. Breaking news. Snoop Dogg has now acquired the catalog to Death Row. If you remember, it was the weekend right before the Super Bowl and that awesome performance that they did during the halftime show that they announced that Snoop had acquired the Death Row Records brand. You heard a lot of people hit the internet basically saying that Snoop had purchased the catalog then, but he hadn't. If you watch my video in which I did it, I basically specified that Snoop had bought the brand, not the catalog. You can check that if you want to watch that prior video. But in fact, today it is official and the deal is complete. The negotiations, and Snoop now owns the master copies for both of his debut albums, should I say his debut album, Doggy Style, and the follow-up, Dogfather, as well as Daz's and Corrupt's Dog Food album, The Lady of Rage, and all of the compilations and soundtracks that Death Row released throughout the 90s. Basically, they didn't really disclose the terms of the deal, but what's so powerful is if you want to go back over, like, dealing with Murder Was the Case, as well as Murder Was the Case, the movie and the things that they had did when they did the Murder Was the Case soundtrack, right? Snoop now owns all of that. The Gridlock soundtrack, in which it does have some of 2Pac's work on there. Like I said, Snoop now owns that. Basically, what it doesn't come with, the collection, the master copies in the deal that he just did. It does not come with Dr. Dre's The Chronic. Basically, is set to be returned to Snoop's longtime friend, sometime next year. It's a 30-year copyright thing that happens in the United States Copyright Office. Basically, after a certain amount of time, your copyrights and the rights revert back to you. And so, like I said, that will be going back to Dr. Dre. And under that's the reason why that happens. There's a copyright law. Also, people like George Clinton and a lot of other artists basically have received their rights back to their music. What also is not included in Snoop purchasing the catalog was 2Pac's classic album, All Eyez on Me, and the Don Illuminati album, the Seven Day Theory, the Makaveli album. They basically have reverted back to Amaru Entertainment and the 2Pac estate. So for the people who are wondering, who owns 2Pac's music, and like I said, once again, the All Eyez on Me and the Makaveli album is not included, as well as Dr. Dre's The Chronic is not included in this deal with Snoop basically acquiring the Death Row catalog. How powerful is that, man? How powerful is that? Snoop was just recently talking about how the first big piece of money that he had saw while he was on Death Row was basically when he had did the St. Eyez commercial. And like all of the drama and the headache and all of the rumors and things that surrounded, Snoop's business and affairs and things like that, dealing with Death Row, also with Daz and what he had to go through in order to retain everything that he did, and him fighting a good fight with that situation. And all of the people, it is a wonderful day that, not only that Snoop is getting it back, but like I say, the artists, the people who actually put in the work and created the value behind what Death Row was, are now reaping the benefits and reaping the rewards for their labor. So for all of the drama, all of the not getting his publishing, all the not being paid what he was supposed to be paid at that particular time, now Snoop Dogg now owns what Suge Knight once controlled and basically moved with an iron fist at that particular time. So congratulations to Snoop. Like I said once again, but all of the other albums, minus Dr. Dre's The Chronic, All Eyez on Me, and the Makaveli album, Snoop now owns and controls the masters too. And so it basically, goes into saying Snoop might not miss those exceptions much in the long run. Basically, he just put out a new album, is the BODR, on the Back on Death Row. His first release for the album in 25 years, is already generating revenues of 10,000 units. So that new album that Snoop just released basically has sold about 10,000 units, while Doggy Style alone was worth basically 169,000 units just in 2021. Basically, that's what it sold in 2021. Doggy Style had sold 169,000 units, which is great numbers. Like I said, but once again, people don't understand the licensing money that can be generated when you license the master recordings. And I'll explain this to the people that don't know. So if, like, say for instance, you want to come and you wanted to use, let's say, What's My Name by Snoop, right? First and foremost, before you get any kind of rights, you need to get the master rights. And now for those master rights to be able to use the master copy of that original version of that recording, you would have to go to Snoop first, right? And then you would have to go to the songwriters and clear each and every percentage of that song that that individual songwriter and publisher owns in order to complete that licensing deal. So like I said, with basically the soundtracks, Doggy Style, Dog Father, Dog Food, and the soundtrack by 2Pac for Gridlock. Like I said, 2Pac had a couple of joints on there that were real dope. It's a great thing, man. Like I said, me being in the music industry and understanding like the nuances of the publishing and the license and all of the rights and things that go along with that. Like I said, this is a great day. And it also says basically, Billboard basically puts the total revenue for the catalog, right? They talked about this. And the total revenue for the catalog at around $6 million last year, combined with the branding, which handles merch licensing of Death Row, the Death Row logo. Remember, I said the Death Row logo and the catalog were two separate entities. So when people were saying basically that, well, why did Death Row own the Makaveli album and All Eyez on Me? It wasn't actually so. When Death Row filed for bankruptcy, right? Jimmy Iovine them, they basically, well, part of the creditors, they were owed money, right? So when you file bankruptcy, you file a creditor thing, and when they sell it, you get your portion of the money, based on what you said that they owed you, and so on and so forth. They just didn't want to deal with all of the drama that came with, owning that catalog, because the business practices that were done were a headache. You know what I mean? People weren't getting paid. They would have had to deal with lawsuits. You seen that 2Pac mother sued E1, basically trying to get her money and the royalties that were owed to her, because the whole 2Pac situation was so crazy. Jimmy Iovine and Interscope didn't want to deal with that. So when people say, well, yeah, no, it really wasn't that. They just let that go. As you see now, when the catalog was bought initially out of bankruptcy, it was bought for like $25 million, right? Now, as of today, they're basically saying that the total revenue for the catalog is at around about $6 million a year, right? Combined with the branding, which, handles merch licensing, Death Row logo. Snoop's adding about, they say, estimated $50 million of value to his name. Basically, however, that Snoop may not have paid that much to MNRK, which previously held the rights to Death Row, due to it no longer having an interest in the brand and having a tendency to return rights to artists as it did with Dr. Dre and Tupac. So basically what that's saying is the people at MNRK who basically owned the Death Row brand name as well as the catalog, they knew that in a couple of years, they wouldn't be able to own the catalog no more anyway. All of those rights would have reverted back to Dr. Dre, Tupac's estate, or Tupac if he was alive, Snoop anyway. So basically, for whatever reason, and like I said, the terms weren't disclosed, whatever Snoop paid for it, it was basically a win-win for MNRK, and it was a win-win for Snoop. You know, because like I said, at the end of the day, you don't want to be holding on to a depreciating asset, right? As time goes on and you paid this much money, you want to basically say, hey, you know what? Let's do this deal, be done. We got our money. You got your catalog. Everybody's happy. So Snoop's talking about turning Death Row into an NFT label, basically holding, the prospects of the future and all of those other things, which, I think is a great thing. Like I said, if people, understand what the NFT space is all about. So like I said, once again, Snoop Dogg now owns Death Row, the brand name, and Death Row, the catalog, minus Dr. Dre's Chronic, All Eyez on Me, and the Makaveli album. But all of the other compilations, Murder Was the Case soundtrack, Doggy Style, Dog Father, Dog Food, and all of the other things that Tupac had appeared on, Snoop now owns all of those things. As well as, like I said, one of my favorite soundtracks that Death Row had released at that time, the Gridlock soundtrack. Like I said, you heard it here, your boy, DELRAY, straight game.